me, and I said, what's the, what is, he said, I can't tell you a thing. I will meet you at a safe house. She is in fear of her life. We believe that there may be attempts on her life. We have her in hiding, and I think you are exactly the guy to do this because, of course, in the work that I do, I'm quite used to sequestering people and foiling, various security agencies. We have dueled in our time at the National Enquirer with the CIA and other security agencies. And I said, okay. I met Faye Resnick, and then I learned that she wanted to tell everything that she knew. And Faye's motives were to tell the world everything she knew about the relationship between O.J. and Nicole. And if you remember at that time, O.J. Simpson was just this wonderful, smiling, happy athlete. We all loved O.J. Hey, O.J. in the Hertz commercials. I sat down with Faye Resnick and I said, well, I don't know if you have a story, but tell me what you have to say. When she finished, and it took about 5 hours, I just said, I want to do this more than I've ever wanted to do anything. I had to do it. The catch was, Tom, I had to do it in 3.5 weeks. So I wrote the book in 3.5 weeks. The book went to #1, and as you said, it came back again on the bestseller list. The Michael Knox story came up, and I turned it down. I said, it's not a book. It's a great magazine piece, but the guy was on the jury 50 days. What's the hook we hang it on? And then, of course, Jeanette Harris came off the jury and said there were white racist deputies that were guarding us, that were abusing us, they were racists, and this is wrong. And I said, I want to talk to Michael Knox now.
Now you have a book. Yes. Yes. Now, these love letters we're hearing about. Now, would it be safe to say, without giving anything away, that, well, it would be safe to assume that the National Enquirer is beating the bushes trying to find these letters?
I would say that you could even go maybe a tad further than that. Even.
Is that so?
Let's just say that we believe that it will come out that Mark Fuhrman and this woman had a relationship. And if you think about it, if you go back and you look at the history of this thing, when this woman, and we don't know yet what the prosecution knew. Did the prosecution know? And this is what Johnny Cochran's been trying to imply. The prosecution knew about this all the time. They knew these tapes were there. They knew that their main witness was a liar. They knew he'd used the N-word in the last 10 years because they knew of the existence of these tapes. We don't know if that's true yet. That will come out later. But we do know that this woman could have simply said, tapes, oh gosh, I burned those ages ago. She could have.
Yes.
She didn't. Why didn't she? Well, I would submit to you that the urge to write a screenplay or a book, and I can tell you this as a man who's been trying to write things all his life, is a powerful urge. And just maybe at the point she was asked to give up these tapes, she might have said to herself, gee, maybe now I'll sell this screenplay that Hollywood laughed at. Maybe now, with this O.J. Simpson case, hey, look at Mike Walker.
Is Laura Hart McKinney still married? She is.
Yes, she is.
Married to a Mr. McKinney, I take it?
Yes, there is a Mr. McKinney.
Do we know anything about him at this point?
No.
I mean, what's it like to be Mr. McKinney and sitting home and seeing Christopher Darden talking about love letters to your wife?
This is something that we will be revealing to you in probably next week's issue, Tom. Because that is, of course, she has now become center stage. She is now a story in this case. And as I said to you earlier, she says, oh, I'm not trying to sell my screenplay. And yet, we have sources in the industry who say, oh, yes, she is. She submitted it to us. Or her agent did.
Mike Walker is with us. He's the gossip editor of the National Enquirer, the author of 2 big books on the O.J. trial, along with Faye Resnick and former juror Michael Knox. And he has a syndicated radio program that's syndicated by Westwood One Entertainment across the country. You can join us here. You may have some questions or comments about O.J. or, in fact, anything that may involve the National Enquirer. Of course, the New York Times has said that the Enquirer's done the best job and consistently been accurate on the O.J. Simpson trial. So say what you will about the Enquirer, that's the fact. Here's our toll-free telephone number from across North America. It's 1-800-5800-TOM. 1-800-5800-866. 19 minutes after the hour. My name is Tom Leykis, and we will continue.
Coast to Coast, the Tom Leykis Show. What would I do if I had more energy? I think I'd get out and rollerblade.
I'd get into the office earlier.
I'd run around the block.
Jinsana's on the street asking, what would you do with more energy?
I'd probably get another job.
Have you ever heard of Jinsana?
Jinsana.
It's an all-natural supplement proven to help build energy and endurance.
My mother takes it. She works hard, so she needs it.
The key word here is natural.
Energizing supplement, huh?
Jinsana is premium ginseng in a capsule, and it helps your body utilize oxygen better.
You need oxygen. Something that would give me more energy without caffeine or sugar, I think would be tremendous.
Did you know that Jinsana helps your cardiovascular system work more efficiently?
Anything good for the cardiovascular has got to be exciting.
If you want more energy, try Jinsana for a few weeks and watch your energy level increase. Feel the difference or your money back guaranteed.
A money-back guarantee?
If I had a lot of energy, I know exactly what I'd do.
Go jogging.
Play basketball longer with my kids.
I'd play some Cajun Bach.
For valuable information, call 800-777-2000. 800-777-2000. Jinsana. More energy for life.
If this could get me moving, I'd do it.
Hey, what's cooking?
Well, pretty much everything. You see, my refrigerator broke.
Good timing. Right now, everything's on sale at Sears Brand Central.
Everything?
Yep. Through Saturday, get great savings on all appliances, electronics, and computers, including top name brands like Sony, Whirlpool, GE, Packard, Bell, and more. It's all on sale.
So if I hurry, maybe I can pick up a new refrigerator before the rest of this food thaws.
Sure.
Oh, that's great. Here, you want a hamburger?
Well, no,
How about some chicken?
Well,
These pork
Sale ends Saturday at Sears Brand Central. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Have something to eat, please.
Do you have a new product or innovation but don't know what to do or where to go? Contact the Idea Exchange at 800-272-6875. The Idea Exchange has a staff of professionals ready to help you create the future. For your free, no-obligation information kit, call 800-272-6875. That's the Idea Exchange. Toll free, 800-272-6875. That's 800-272-6875.
I quit buying cars. I never wanted to walk into another car dealership again until I met Mary from Harrington Chevrolet in Everett. I called their special recovering car buyers hotline, 355-6693, and asked for Mary. She faxed me a form that let her know exactly what I was looking for. I faxed it back, and she had a car brought to me to test drive. I didn't even have to go to the dealership for loan approval. It was just the therapy I needed. Call Harrington Chevrolet's recovering car buyers hotline at 355-6693 and ask for Mary. It's the only way for people like you and me to buy a car.
Paid political announcement.
You hear a lot these days about priorities. Because if we're not careful about how we choose what's important, this city could lose its direction. So are jobs a priority? They should be. Jobs you can get a start with. Jobs you can raise a family on. And is solving real-life problems a priority, like traffic congestion on our streets? Well, this year, there's a proposition that deals with our priorities. The Seattle Commons 60-acre park will attract growing businesses, create 16,500 new jobs, and generate millions in new revenue for schools and law enforcement. And problem solving? Building the Commons will solve the worst traffic congestion in our city, the Mercer mess. That's real. On September 19th, vote yes for Seattle Proposition Number 1. It's why those of us at Building a Better City are proud to have paid for this message.
And now, Little Caesar will tell you about something new at Little Caesar's. I'm talking about...
Pizza.
No, delivery.
Pizza.
We rehearsed this. You say delivery.
Pizza.
Fine. If you won't say it, I'll get my wife to do it.
Delivery.
Thanks, Muffin. Little Caesar's delivers the Pizza Salad Special. 2 great Little Caesar's pizzas and a fresh express farm salad, all for one low price. Delivered. And now, she'll do the legal.
Limited delivery area, participating locations, delivery and carry-out pricing may vary.
Staying up late? Let the buzz keep you company with Dr. Laura and Jim Bohannon. Weeknights starting at 7 here on The Buzz. 100.7 FM.
24 minutes after the hour from New Orleans. We're at Pat O'Brien's. It's the Tom Leykis Show. Thanks for tuning in. We are here with Mike Walker. He is the gossip editor of the National Enquirer. And we can talk about O.J. Simpson or any number of other issues, but certainly O.J. A big component in the Enquirer right now. And Mike is appearing everywhere. You've seen him on Geraldo. Were you not recently taping a Geraldo with both Michael Knox and Faye Resnick?
It actually will air, I believe, on Tuesday. And the theme of the show is O.J. going to get away with murder? I think we know what Faye Resnick is going to say. There won't be much mystery about that. Michael Knox is interesting because Michael is interesting because he's an African-American. So, you know, he has no baggage that he's carrying. He is an African-American, and therefore he can just be viewed as someone who is neutral, we hope. And Michael has also said, and he said in the book, he said, if I haven't heard all the evidence, but if I had to make a decision today, you know, based on what I've heard, I would say the prosecution has a very strong case. Now, I have not talked to Michael in about a week and a half. I have not talked to him at all about his thoughts about Furman, and I did that for a reason, because we were going to do this show, and I didn't want to talk to him. And I'm going to be very curious to see what Michael Knox will say, with the experience he's had as an O.J. juror, of how he would feel knowing what he knows. And Tom, let me make something clear to you. The O.J. jury is hearing far more than we think they're hearing. Johnny Cochran knows when he gets up in court and he makes these little soapbox pronouncements. He did one about the National Enquirer. He got up some weeks ago and he said, there was a story in the National Enquirer, talked about a plea bargain. And, Your Honor, we want to make it very clear there's been no plea bargain and blah, blah, blah. And everyone's going, wait a minute. Hello, this is not a commercial you're doing here, Johnny. Who cares about what the National Enquirer said? What's this got to do with the case? Johnny Cochran was saying to the jurors, wives, lovers, boyfriends, girlfriends, the ones who would be enjoying pillow talk with them on Saturday night, he was saying, here's what I want you to tell your juror, husband slash lover slash, you know, boyfriend. And that's what he's been doing all along. From the knowledge I've gotten from Michael Knox of what goes on in that jury, believe me, those jurors, although sequestered, are hearing things, because even though the deputies monitor the phone calls, they're not monitoring them by any kind of monitoring device. The deputies are just standing there in the phone room. So they hear what the jurors saying. They don't hear what the wife or the husband is saying on the other end. So, you know, you could say, so how are the kids could be the code word, you know, for, so what are they saying about the case? You understand?
I do.
So we know that they are hearing far more than anybody really believes they are hearing. I want to know what Michael Knox is going to say about how he would be judging all of this.
Now, Michael Knox spent 50 days on the jury in the O.J. Simpson trial. Does he still watch it every day? I mean, you would think after getting off that jury, he would just not care anymore.
No. Michael Knox, Michael talked a lot about this, and we touched on it in the book. He said, when you get swept up in something like this, I mean, he said, you can't imagine what this is like. I mean, he said, you know, we all hear about going and serving on a jury. He said, but nobody told me when I got to that hotel that I couldn't have a drink. They said, hey, Judge Ito has picked out a luxury hotel, and it's a beautiful hotel. I won't mention the name of it, of course. And to Michael Knox and the other jurors, I thought, hey, a luxury hotel. Hey, with room service, and we'll go down to the bar, and we'll, you know, maybe dance a little at night when we come home from a hard day in the jury box. Not a beer, pal. Not a glass of wine, nothing. And they weren't told that.
Wow.
Now, just, Tom, you and I have been out on the town a couple of times, and I want to know how you would react if you arrived as an O.J. juror, were told, oh, by the way, Tom, this is the last drink you're going to have for the next 8 months.
Now, is that the law, or is that just the way this particular case was set up?
That is what is so interesting. As Michael Knox says in his book, after researching and talking to various legal experts, and I talked to them too, of course, because I helped him write the book, this is probably illegal. There is nothing that says you can tell a juror, sequestered or not, hey, you're a juror now. You have just given up all your rights as an American citizen. I say you can't have a drink, and I say you can't have sex with your wife, and I say you're going to answer this 276 questionnaire, and you're going to answer it in detail. I want to know everything you've done since you were a Boy Scout. And oh, by the way, you can't watch any videotapes that have to do with this, and you can't see any newspapers with that. Okay, we all understand why they couldn't read newspapers about the case. I mean, that's common sense. But you can't have a beer?
That's amazing.
Yeah, it is amazing, and it's not probably. I've talked to legal experts, lawyers, who have said it is patently illegal. the way we treat jurors in this country. The only reason no one's ever bitched about it very much up until now is we've never had a case like this. And as you know, very shortly after Michael Knox's book came out and the jurors revolted, there was a jury up in New York State that revolted too.
It's amazing. We're going to take a break. We're going to come back with Mike Walker, the gossip editor of the National Enquirer. Your telephone calls are coming up next. Our toll-free telephone number from across North America is 1-800. Film A Little Princess.
Kill Nicole and Ron, and he did not want to divulge the name of the person who hired him because he said he feared for his life. Now, do you not think that that shows that some other party out there had an insidious intent toward Nicole? Because if that wasn't the case, why would he hire this gentleman to follow her for that much time?
People who are in jail say a lot of things for a lot of reasons, and as you said, this man said this from jail. Now, it doesn't make a great deal of sense to me that if this man had something that was cogent, reliable, and material to this case, that he wouldn't be listened to. I know the report you're referring to. I don't consider it reliable. What you are right about is that Paula Barbieri's car was found. These documents were found in the car. There was a timetable, as you said, of all of her movements, and there have been suggestions that perhaps Paula was even involved in keeping track of Nicole, or Paula could have hired this guy. We're never going to know, but as I say, this guy, you know, it's a jailhouse tip is what we call it, and it has not been corroborated to our satisfaction.
Thank you, Paul. Cynthia calling from a car phone in Sacramento. You're on the Tom Leykis Show with Mike Walker. Hello.
Hi, Tom. Hi, Mike. And Tom,
Hi.
I'm so sorry I missed you last week at America Live. I tried so desperately, but I did get to see a picture of you. Is that what you look like now?
Yes.
Okay, because I don't have a clue, and I didn't know.
Well, you should have come out, Cynthia. We came all the way to Sacramento. Where were you?
But I live in Stockton. I work in Sacramento, and you guys were starting too late. And I have to be in I get up
This is when the show is on. This is when we work.
But I love you still, okay? I'll catch you eventually. My question is this, to Mike. Have you felt that Faye Resnick was possibly an intended victim in this
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
I was
was she
asking
what?
you, do you feel that Faye Resnick was the intended victim in this murder case?
The dependent victim?
No, the intended victim.
Oh, the intended victim. Oh, I'm so sorry. Absolutely not. No. This is another red herring thrown out by Johnny Horcoran. Look, there are, 6 drug lords down in Bogota. They say, hey, there's a couple of Beverly Hills housewives that owe us, let's see, Faye Resnick owes about $450 and Nicole owes about $280. Let's send 6 of our best guys up there and let's murder Nicole. But they make a mistake and they murder Faye Resnick. You've seen Nicole. You have seen Faye Resnick. Nicole is tall, blonde, and very light-skinned. Faye is short and dark-skinned and has red hair. There is no physical similarity whatsoever. You would have to be a rank moron to make a mistake and kill the wrong person in this case. No, I do not believe she was the intended victim. I mean, if the Colombian drug cartel wanted to get to her, for God's sake, she was locked up in Exodus Drug Rehab Center, and it's not hard to get in there, believe me.
Thanks for the call, Cynthia. Julian calling from Newport News, Virginia. You're on the Tom Leykis Show with Mike Walker. Hello.
Hi, Tom.
Hi.
Hi. You know what? I'm finding it hard to believe that everyone is saying that it takes a major conspiracy for some local cops in the L.A. Police Department and they're finding it hard to believe that conspiracy can take place. But with Randy Weaver, they can believe that the highest level of the FBI are involved in some conspiracy. So I'm coming to the conclusion that if I was a white racist, either a white racist cop or a white racist, then no matter what I do is okay. And and listening to Mike Walker, he's talking about jailhouse tips. They're pretty much the equivalent of an Enquirer tip, or what we call here bovine schizophrenia. I just don't understand.
I'm not going to sit here and tell you about the articles and praise that we've gotten for our coverage of the O.J. case. It has been the most accurate. The Columbia Journalism Review said so. The New York Times said so. Time Magazine, in a piece called "The Leader of the Pack," said so. Ted Koppel said so on Nightline when I was there. That's not true, sir. Every piece of information we have is checked, cross-checked. We're very proud of our accuracy, and particularly in this case. But what you're talking about here is two different things. You're saying that you think that people find it difficult to believe that a white racist cop could start a conspiracy. I don't find it difficult to believe at all. I believe that Mark Fuhrman is a racist. I believe he's scum. I believe he's perfectly capable, if he'd thought of it or had the opportunity to do it. If somebody said, hey, Mark, guess what? If you took this glove over to O.J.'s, none of us would say a thing. Why don't you go ahead and do it? That isn't the case, sir. It doesn't stack up with what the facts were. Mark Fuhrman arrived on the scene. There were about 22 policemen and firemen there, okay? We have testimony, if you have watched the case, from cops who saw the glove, and they had no axe to grind. They didn't know what they were being asked when they were being asked it. It is impossible to conceive, not that he would do it, but that he could have done it in this case. And talking about the FBI, there's no question in the case of the FBI that the FBI's second highest ranking man issued an order that was absolutely against the United States Constitution, saying you may shoot to kill.
Thank you, Julian, for the call. We'll continue with Mike Walker, the gossip editor of the National Enquirer, coming up 7 minutes before the hour. My name is Tom Leykis.
You're listening to the Tom Leykis Show.
Like a mild.
Four minutes before the hour, we're on Bourbon Street in New Orleans at Pat O'Brien's, the Tom Leykis Show. Thanks for tuning in. Mike Walker is with us. We have just about a minute left here, Mike. What are we going to see coming up soon in the O.J. trial? You can give us a little snatch here, and then we'll pick up the Enquirer and find the whole truth here.
Well, as I said, there are a couple of pieces of evidence that we feel could be bombshell evidence. One of them is the satellite photo that I talked about. I'm not sure that they will use that. The other is some evidence that I really can't talk about because, of course, when you're on as many stations as you, Tom, you are widely listened to, and I'm sure there is some enterprising journalist out there who would just love to jump the gun on our next week's issue. But I don't think, I know right now people are saying, wow, the prosecution is in disarray, and they are. It's a shambles. Yes, it is. But do they have some strong rebuttal evidence to come back with? Yes, I think they do, and I think some of it's going to be very strong.
Cool. Always great to see you, Mike.
Good to be here, sir.
More fun off the air than on the air, but we'll have to keep that to ourselves, I think. Thanks so much for stopping by.
Thank you, Tom.
Mike Walker, you see him in the National Enquirer, you see him on the bestseller list, and you hear him on Westwood One Radio with a nationwide talk program, not unlike this one, as a matter of fact. Joining us now from the L.A. County Criminal Courts Building in downtown Los Angeles is reporter Steve Futterman, who has all the latest on the O.J. Simpson trial that you may have missed today. Hello, Steve.
Hi, Thomas. So where are you, on Bourbon Street?
We're on Bourbon Street at Pat O'Brien.
Boy, gee, I'm so glad I'm not there. I'd rather be here at the Criminal Courts Building any time.
Well, I'll tell you what, they got better oysters here than they have down there. I've been to the 13th floor. I've eaten the food down there.
Well, it looks like the defense is about to rest. They've all but rested. Just the formal announcement will come either on Friday or Monday. And guess what? O.J. Simpson is not going to take the stand.
Oh, knock me over.
Rosa Lopez will not take the stand.
Mm-hmm.
Mary Ann Gurchis will not take the stand.
What a surprise.
Never got an explanation about O.J. Simpson playing golf on the night of June 12th. But we sure know a lot about Mark Fuhrman.
We certainly do. And we know that he took the fifth yesterday.
He did, and the defense tried at the last minute to put Fuhrman on the stand in front of the jury, have him take the fifth in front of the jury. Judge Ito said no, but the jury apparently, the prosecution's fighting this, but the jury will apparently hear an instruction from Judge Ito saying that Mark Fuhrman was unavailable to testify, and you can draw your own conclusions about that. That could hurt the prosecution.
Wow, wow, wow. All right, Steve, very good. We'll look for you again tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Okay, Tom.
It's reporter Steve Futterman from the courthouse.
The Tom Leykis Show.
Coming up next, a suggestion from a listener for us to talk about, well, this particular issue. He says if a girl is exposing herself inadvertently and doesn't know it, does a man have an obligation to tell her about it? We'll read you his email, and then we'll get your response to this. As we continue...
after the squash game.
Oh, Fred, I told Marion I'd take her to the Bakerama.
Don't look at me. Football, remember?
Oh.
Dad, please. I'm a grown woman.
You're 14.
Dad, please.
Our typical family has become a statistic. Like most families, they spend less than half an hour a day together. Much of it like this.
So?
And now. No.
Nope.
Then like this.
I'm out of here. I'm history.
Don't forget the rose.
Bye.
Bye. Dad, please.
That's As the Door Slams. Join us next week when...
First, we're all going to eat dinner together.
Together?
Huh?
As a family.
That's right.
Yeah, and we can actually talk to each other.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Hey, and listen, we can talk about our family vacation.
Yeah.
And I can make some of my famous goulash.
Dad, please.
Okay.
In your family matters, make sure your family matters. A message from the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.